I'm doing this set primarily for Stephen, but for everybody who has now got digitizing software and they haven't been using it for very long. And it's an exercise I want all of you to do. Now, I used to set exercises a long time ago, but nobody used to bother. They say, oh no, it's a waste of thread, it's a waste of stabilizer. A few people did, but I made the sizes too small. So what I want you to do is I want you to go and pick up your parallel weave fill tool. Okay, and I got to set a grid because I haven't got one in here. Oh, set up work environment, display grid, and I'll leave it on the 10. Okay, because that helps me. I put a right mouse no click in the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. I want to come down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into there. 1 up from the central horizontal line. 1 over to there. 1 over to there. And then press enter. Okay, there's my first circle. I'm going to go into object details, stitch parameters, whatever, and tell it no underlay. That's the first one. Okay. And I've left the fill at the default. Then I'm going to go into object reshape and I'm going to set that angle for 90. And I'm going to tell that stop. Now I want to highlight it, drag it, drop it, drag it, drop it, drag it, and drop it. Okay, go and click on that one. Go to object reshape. I said object reshape. There it is. I don't want it on 90. I'm going to put that down at 45. That's the true bias. Actually, the bias occurs anything from up here, which is 50, down to 30. Where's 30? Okay. So we'll stick that up on 45. And still no underlay. This is your first one. Tell that stop. I'm going to come down to this one. Go into object reshape and stick this one on 0. No, I want you on 0. Thank you. And tell that one OK. I'm not going through all the angles. Then highlight that one, come to object reshape and put this one 135. OK. Now, stitch direction, the direction that you're stitching in, has a huge effect on how something is going to fill. That one is at 45 degrees, it's driving this way. This one is at 135 degrees, and I'm going to check in a minute. I'm hoping it's driving that way, because I know it does in one of my other packages. So I'm going to go on to this one. Right, that's that nasty whip line. And rush that through. Okay, I'll show you something else in a second. Now we've gone to the second one. Right, now it's filling top to bottom. Okay, I can hear you saying, so what's that got to do with the price of eggs? Top to bottom, it's pulling in at the top, it's pushing out at the sides, it's pulling in at the bottom. This one, pulling in at the sides, pushing out at the bottom. Sorry, pulling in at the bottom, pushing out at the sides. This one, it's stitching across. I want to slow the next one down because I want to see exactly where it starts stitching. On this one we'll be pulling in at the sides and splaying out top and bottom. Right. It's still stitching from the top. Okay. Now, we know this one is filling from side to side. Okay. This one. And this was going across, wasn't it? Okay, now they've filled straight across, which means they're going to have no joints in the middle. And I'm going to try now and explain why. We go into Object Reshape again. There is my angle, which lies across there. And my start and my end point lie either side of my angle. That's my angle, my fill is that way, my start and end lie either side of my angle. And the same on this one. They lay on either side of the angle. And on this one, they lay on either side of the angle. Now that was one little rule that I had forgotten. Okay, now we've got that much established, we move on to the next stage. And the next stage is we click on that one and we go to Outline. And we tell it we want a single run in black. And we don't want any offsets, so we tell that OK. And there is our outline. Now, I'm not certain if you can see this. Right. Up at the top, it's pulled in a little bit. A small bit of stretchiness lies above it. It thinks that's enough. Down at the bottom, it's pulled up a little. It thinks that's enough. On the side, it runs right up against the stitching. Now we do the same on this one. And we tell that one we want an outline. OK. This time it's pulled in at the top, on the side here. I'm calling it the top, it's not the top. left side, and it's pulled up here along the straight margins. It's sitting right on the edges. So we do the same on this one. We highlight it, and you can see the stretchiness allowance has actually come over the trace line there. That heavy pink line is the trace line, and we put an outline around that. Okay, and we do the same on this one, and we put an outline on that one. Okay, I want you to stitch it, and I want you to compare the outline to the inside here, fill, and see where the actual distortion does sit. Now the one thing with run-line stitch is it does distort a teeny bit, but not that much. It's the least harmful of your stitches for causing distortion. Unless of course you do loads and loads of run stitches all in one spot. I want you to compare the effects that your fill angle has had, and how much pull there has been, and how much push. Now in this one it will pull in at the top, and it will pull in at the bottom. It will also bulge out at the sides, because the closer to the edges it gets, the more room it's got, and it thinks, oh good, I can stretch my elbows, and it will do it. Then I want you to repeat that with underlay. Okay, and loosen the tensions off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy all these, because I am an exceptionally idle digitizer, and tell that copy, start a new screen, and then tell it paste. Okay, click off. I don't know why this one ended up so low. Oh no, I've misshapen that one. Okay, move that up into position. I should have grouped them. Actually, I think I might well do that. Just backspace until that's them. Highlight that one, tell them group. Always helps if you remember to do things the correct way. I just moved a pair of them up there. I don't want them stitching outside of the box. Ah, Maggie. Edit group. Thank you. I don't know why I'm snarling at the program. It's the end user. Okay. This one, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell it underlay, click it on, edge run and weave. Edge run and weave. Thank you. Tell that one OK. And do the same for all of them. Put edge run and weave into all of them. Object details, underlay, edge run and weave. OK. And you'll notice I haven't changed the density. You do that on the next lot. Edge run and weave. Because I want you to do this a third time. And on the third one, I want you to slacken the density. Now, I did hundreds of these. I read an article, and I hadn't been digitizing very long, and it explained push-pull, but I really couldn't grab hold of it then. But it gave a very simple exercise, and so I carried out the exercise. And I started off with plain ones. Default density, the main four angles, 90, 45, 0 and 135. And then you had to stitch them. And because I had to put an outline around them, it showed me exactly where my fabric had been distorted. It's no use making them 1 inch or 2 inches. Do them a decent size. That way you get a much faster visual appearance. If you're frightened of wasting stabilizer and fabric and thread, don't. And what I'm saying don't to is don't be frightened. Now when you've done all those, I've got another set of exercises for you to do, and they're coming up in the next video.